2 months.
2 months. Very excited. We're in the new studio at the Dr. Fix-It Cyber Complex. Try to say that fast a few times. Here in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
I can barely say it once.
On Rhode Island broadcast. We've got an exciting show tonight. We're looking forward to it. We're going to start with our leadoff story. So our leadoff story today is recently this week, the New York Jets traded quarterback Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers. The Jets received a 6th-round draft pick this year, a 2nd and a 4th in 2022. Who made out in this deal?
Well, I would think Carolina. I mean, what do they get to lose? I mean, you're getting Sam Darnold. The Jets had no clue how to work with this quarterback. I think he's better than what they used him. And I think Carolina makes out on this deal.
So I looked at some of the numbers. Sam Darnold in his career, 8,000 yards passing, 45 touchdowns, 39 interceptions, but 13 and 25 record. So his obviously being in New York, we already know that what kind of issues that was. But Teddy Bridgewater, so obviously he had that one season he was hurt, and then it took him a couple of years to come back. But 11,000 passing yards, 53 touchdowns, 36 interceptions, 26 and 23. So they went 4 and 10 last year with him, I believe, 4 and 12.
Yeah.
But I still feel like Carolina right now. So what I'm hearing is that they're going to probably trade Bridgewater after this is all said and done. That's what the rumor going out there. The interesting part, though, look at this. So you get Darnold back. McCaffrey, I think, is bigger key than anybody else.
Yep.
McCaffrey comes back. They were the 24th ranked offense last season. Sam Darnold gets a little better coaching. They get another year with him.
Better?
A little better. Well, it can't get any worse. Right? So Carolina really made out. You get for a 6th-round pick this year. I mean, unless it's 99, we all know how that turned out. I don't think that's going to happen again.
No, I don't think they're going to find a Tom Brady.
So it's going to be pretty interesting if you look.
And then what happens? He gets traded into Brady's division.
Let's bring him because he didn't get enough beatings. No, that's a really great way to look at it, right? Plus, Sam, we feel for you. We understand.
Yeah, but I think he's going to do good there.
Yeah.
I think the Jets were just too inept to know how to use him. And going to Carolina, he's going to be like one of those players that's not in books because this is
he's going to be McCaffrey. They need McCaffrey.
Yeah.
McCaffrey stays healthy. That team easily can win, 9-10 games.
Yeah.
No McCaffrey, I don't see them being any better than 4
But are they going to drive him into the ground?
Which they've already seemed to be doing.
Yeah,
so it'd be pretty interesting to see how that turns out. So we're both agreeing Carolina probably winning that. We'll see what the Jets do with the draft picks. I think
They'll
overall
screw it up.
on our Twitter poll, 52% feel Bridgewater is going to be the starting quarterback. On Facebook, 63% voted for Donald. So it's pretty interesting. If you don't follow us on Facebook at Sports Unfolded, at Twitter, at Sports Unfolded on Twitter as well. We do post every week some polls, and then we obviously want to hear what our fans think. Let's move on to the NHL. My hockey guy, and I know you're excited.
I am.
And this is some fun times to be a Boston Bruins fan, because Jeremy Swayman recorded 40 saves in his NHL debut for the Boston Bruins in a win against the Flyers. He followed it up last night with a 31 save performance in another win against the Capitals. Is he the answer for the Boston Bruins going forward this season?
This season, I hope not. Like, I think he's spectacular. I think he's going to be an all-star in the near future. And I'll tell you, the Bruins' future, asked me that question 2 years ago, and I was scared. But now you're looking at this future with these two great rookie goaltenders. I mean, they're spectacular. They've played so well. And then you add like Trent Frederick and Studnicka and Zaboral and all these young, talented players. They're going to be good for a while, you know. So I'm less afraid of the future than I was
a couple of years
ago. But those two goaltenders, they played unbelievable.
So Swayman, 8-1 in guys just didn't feel comfortable what was behind or in the nets. Could he stop a shot? You're starting to see that they feel a little more confident they're playing Bruins hockey again.
See, like, I'll be comfortable with Tuukka Rask there. With Halak as the starter, you know, and playing all those games, Halak has a real tendency to give up a lot of bad goals. He plays great. I'm not taking anything away from him. He plays great, but he does give a lot of bad goals. These two kids, I didn't see bad goals from them. None. Like, they are legitimate, and you're going to see wonderful things.
So the NHL trade deadline's on the 12th. There's already been a few trades. Conley and Borgstrom to the Blackhawks from the Panthers. Palmieri and Zajac traded to the Islanders. Are there any moves the Boston Bruins should make, or were any of these guys actually on the radar?
Tried to get Palmieri. Did not happen. And that's too bad, because he would have fit the team very well. But as time has gone on, I think the needs have changed. Like, we all knew that they would need a defenseman to bring the puck out, and get that offense rolling. Now, with all these injuries on defense, they need to get a defenseman, and I don't think they should go after a forward, because I think they can piece that together. If you can get at least one defenseman, I would like them to get two. I want a guy you want a guy like Carlo, if Carlo can stay on the
ice, yeah.
But you need a guy that can generate some offense from defense. So they need a puck mover to get the puck out, and I think that could take care of the offense, because if you can get those forwards the puck, I think that solves the problem.
Yeah, so Marchand's playing,
throwing the puck all over the place.
Yeah, so Marchand's playing, out of this world right now, and I think he's carrying the team. So
I think he's the best winger in sports in hockey right now.
So they've got to get him the puck, right? That's going to be key. So let me ask you this question though, as this is going to sound. Swayman playing as right now, backup, trade us at this point. What could you get for him, or
They're
is he
not
going to be
going to
worth
trade
it?
you. They're not trading him.
This is final
This is
year.
his last year. They're probably going. Look, if they can trade, I don't think they can because this is contender. So I would much rather just let him run out the clock on his contract.
So you don't trust Swayman?
No, that I trade Halak, keep Swayman as your backup.
So do you feel there'd be enough teams interested in Halak?
I think they would. I wouldn't trade him anywhere in your division or the division that's going to play. So trade him out west.
Are there any players looking at right now?
Bruins are so difficult to gauge because they don't really do anything. Darcy is a defense player. It's because he's a defenseman. So, and I can see them trying to get a player that plays similar to what he was. So a good defensive player has off. They're not going to go after a first line. They're not going to get that. There's not many available, but I can see them going after that third or fourth defensive player because you got to make sure that you have a Carlo there. That's basically what they need. So
I think one particular player you'd want today.
It's so hard with the defensive players out there. You got to look at teams that are out of it, and frankly, I'm looking at those teams and. There's not many. There's not a lot there, so it's quite conceivable they don't do anything.
So are you satisfied that the team they have in place right now could compete for a cup?
If they have to go with what they've got, I think they can compete. But again, I want a defenseman. You might be able to sway somebody.
Swayman. See how you did that? Right, that was good.
Somebody like I don't know, like a Phoenix, like a Phoenix that they're on the bubble. Even the Kings are kind of on that bubble. Maybe somewhere in there you might be able to find something, but like everybody thinks they can make it right now, except for a few teams, Buffalo.
Yeah. No, so we'll have to see. Obviously, we got a few days.
I wouldn't want anybody on Buffalo. Like they can't play defense. Like I don't want them.
So
I don't want them.
3 days to go. We'll have to see what the Boston Bruins do. It'll be interesting to see how the trade deadline comes down. So we'll obviously keep our eye on it and any announcements.
Look for them to go after a defenseman. If they don't get a defenseman, then they'll try to get a forward. Maybe somebody that can kill penalties and stuff like that.
I still think Rask should go, but that's my opinion.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It just makes sense. Why have both of them?
They're going to lose them next year, and there's a chance that you lose both of them because they're going to have to leave a goaltender available in the expansion draft.
You'd have to say you're going to be able to get a better chip with him than you would with anybody else.
Right.
So I don't know. It just makes sense.
If you do trade Rask, you can get that number 1 and 2 defensemen, and
so
then
changes the whole complexity.
Hey, do you roll with those goaltenders? I would take that chance because if you do get that number 1 defenseman,
Stanley Cup possibly.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so.
Major League Baseball. So we're going to talk about the San Diego Padres. So shortstop Fernando Tatis Jr. recently injured his left shoulder. Tatis just signed a 14-year, $340 million contract.
Oops.
How concerned would you be if you're a San Diego Padre fan or actually ownership?
I'd be in the office shaking like uncontrollably and probably in total bewilderness.
I think it was funny. One of the things I read was if this was like a fantasy baseball on a computer, or you were starting out, you're playing Major League the show on PlayStation or Xbox, and this is how your season started. You just basically delete the season and start it over because this is going to be your number one guy.
Yeah.
This is an injury that's probably going to hurt him
all year.
Yeah, which is a tough break.
And I love how they say you can't hurt it anymore, but you're not going to be able to swing the bat.
So think about this. How about the
you're going to be able to swing?
What about the mental aspect of it?
Yeah.
Because now he's got to think about it. If I try to hack at this too hard, will I
Yeah.
pop? Will something happen again?
Oh yeah, it's going to pop.
This could literally be something that holds him back the entire season.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's had 18 at bats, 3 hits, 1 home run. He's batting 167, so it's not a big loss right now. But obviously, the season has just begun.
That wasn't going to be his stats.
Season just begun, so I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see if this is a long-term thing. They're talking about a possible 10 days to a couple weeks. I think he's out a month.
I would say so, especially if he's not going to have surgery. If he doesn't have surgery, then your season's over, really. Because he's not going to be the same for the whole
season puts him out for the year. They said he's not going for surgery right now, currently. So
it's going to be like that anyway. It actually might make the team worse, him being in the lineup, because he's not going to be able to hit. Like every time he swings, he's going to be in pain.
It's crazy, these contracts that these Major League Baseball players, and this is not even year one of a 10-year deal.
Yeah,
so this is something. This is something to look forward to, huh? So if you're just joining us, we're on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We're live every Friday night at 6 p.m. You can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Sports Unfolded, or on Instagram at Sports_Unfolded. And we are at the Dr. Fix-It Cyber Complex, our new studio. Really excited about it. Great location. We're actually going to try to do some live shows with in-studio guests, so that'll be kind of exciting as well. So people can yell at Ron every time he's wrong.
Yeah. Which they will never yell at
me. I like the way you think. Let's move on to the NCAA basketball men's tournament. So,
were we not paranoid last week about this game?
Yes. So I think we were Gonzaga. Gonzaga was going to be Gonzaga. Baylor manhandled Gonzaga.
I remember saying this could.
Yeah,
Baylor scares me.
If this was one team that everybody said all season, Baylor was that team 86-70. Do you feel, based on how that game finished, was the tournament a disappointment?
No, because just by them winning, surprises people, and there is no better thing than having, upsets. Like, everybody loves those upsets. And we had a lot of them this year.
Had the UCLA, Loyola, Chicago.
But Baylor winning that game, and the way they did, they just
dominating fashion.
Aspect of the
34-17 in rebounding, 14 turnovers that they caused Gonzaga. They basically made Gonzaga have 43.5% from 3 points. I mean, it's just complete domination. And I think the Zags cut it to 10 at half, and everybody's like, oh, well, that might be what they need, and they just couldn't bounce back.
No.
Baylor was definitely the stronger team.
Well, Baylor, every time there was a loose ball, Baylor was there. Every time that there was any questions of rebounding, Baylor was there. They just beat them to the ball, and they just dominated.
So the funny thing, too, is, I mean, if you look at it this way, the hardest thing to do is to go undefeated. So before the show, we were talking about the Patriots and them trying to go undefeated, and how much pressure is on that team that's undefeated to win that final game. Gonzaga barely got by in the Final Four. It's a three-point shot in overtime.
They were feeling it then,
right, against UCLA, and it was just like that was that, okay, can we get through it?
Yeah.
That was their championship game, because I just think there was so much pressure for them to get to that final.
Right.
They couldn't perform when it came.
The energy that they had to expend to get through the end of that game. Like, it's like It's like when Bruins are playing Montreal in like the semifinals. I think we have somebody calling on the
Our
hotline.
complex. The Dr. Fix-It hotline's calling in.
Yeah, so the energy that you're expending, like in a Bruin Montreal or a Red Sox Yankee, game 5, game 7, whatever it is at the time, you're expending so much energy to beat that team, and then you go into a lame duck kind of situation.
Yeah.
And that seems to be where Gonzaga was.
Yeah,
right
and
there.
it's a shame because no team's gone undefeated in NCAA since the 76
yeah.
Indiana Hoosiers. So I don't think we'll see it. It was it's kind of crazy.
Not for at least another year.
Yep, not till next year. We start all over again. I was glad to see the tournament back. I think next season with the fans, so we're starting to see fans in Major League Baseball games and
Yes.
and basketball games. I think when the fans are back, that energy, it's going to be fun to see. I'm glad they at least had the tournament this season. Let's move on to the NBA. We'll continue talking some basketball here. DeMarcus Cousins signed a 10-day contract with the LA Clippers. Does this help the Clippers leapfrog in the West? Is this basically they're currently third in the West behind the Suns and the Jazz, only 4.5 games out of first place?
My question is how is it only a 10-day contract? Like, you're going into the playoffs. Why are you not trying to sign a guy like this? And not even just the Clippers. Like
Anyone, yeah.
Anyone.
Yeah, when I heard this, I was...
Okay, when you trade Tice and you need a guy that can rebound, why are you not calling him up?
I don't believe Danny Ainge's phone works anymore. So I think that's why we haven't seen any moves.
Somebody else signed a 10-day contract that I thought, oh my God, he'd be able to. I can't remember who it was. But like, I'm thinking that's what triggered. Why didn't anybody call him until now?
Yeah, he was averaging 9.5 points a game and 7.5 rebounds with Houston.
I don't care if he doesn't score, but if he's going to give you 7 to 10 rebounds,
he's a career 20-point scorer. So the thing is, he's not a bad player. No. He's had several injuries that have kind of derailed it recently, but even him at 75 to 80%, would be the best option on Boston for a big man. I mean, that's beside the point. But look at the fact that the Clippers, they made the move for Rondo.
Yep.
Veteran point guard, playoff experience.
Good playoff player.
Right. Now you get a Cousins who I'm sure they're going to just sign for the rest of the season as long as he can perform and they can see he's healthy enough. This really makes them a favorite in the West. I love the Suns. I love that Chris Paul and Booker and Ayton and what they're doing in Phoenix. I think it's great. I just don't know. Chris Paul, as much as I love him as a player, and I think it seems to be a stand-up guy, just doesn't have it in the playoffs. There's something about the playoffs that his teams just don't get to the finals or are unable to win.
He films all his commercials.
Maybe he needs State Farm insurance to help him. Because at the end of the day, the only team they're competing with right now is got to be the Jazz. I think the Lakers are too far down the pike where these injuries are just going to affect them. I don't believe AD is going to be – he can't stay healthy. He hasn't. He did it in the bubble, and that was for a short amount of time. He hasn't been able to stay consistently healthy. You got LeBron's injury.
Lakers could be in trouble.
So, I mean, I think the Clippers are one of the favorites now in the West. They have to be. How could they not?
I don't know. I still like, maybe Denver.
In Denver, but I mean, they're currently behind the Clippers.
Okay, so
I mean, they made the great move. They got Gordon, but Gordon wasn't able to do anything when he was in Orlando. So
what about Golden State?
They're a train wreck.
Like, can they fix themselves?
No. And it's funny how Steve Kerr is he came out and I guess he felt attacked. People were like, oh, when I'm winning, I'm a genius. And when I'm losing, I don't know what I'm doing. I also say this, if you have a bad team and you're getting beat by 60 points, you're a bad coach. I don't understand that.
Those players on your team, you should never lose by 60 points.
You still got 2 All-Stars.
Yes.
A lot of teams don't have that.
Yeah.
You still have 2 All-Stars.
Yeah.
You got Curry and you got Draymond.
Yeah.
So
You should still be easily in the playoffs with those two players.
and they're on the cusp of not even making the playoffs. And the playoff game, we're not even talking about. I just sounded like Jim Mora. That playoffs, but that's exactly what. Like, we're talking about a team that has the best pair shooter in the NBA.
Yeah.
A jack of all trades in Draymond Green, good young talent. They got a number 2 pick overall in Wiseman, and yet they're barely on the cusp of making the playoffs. I don't know. I think Steve Kerr is a great coach when he has great players.
They're the Celtics of the West.
I don't even think that Celtics have players as good as Golden State.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, they're basically like the Celtics should have
disappointing.
been top 3.
Yeah, not 8th seed, clinging.
If
game over 500.
Yeah,
and they should win tonight. They're playing Minnesota. That'd be a game they'll blow.
These are all the common denominators of both of those.
If Jason Tatum decides to show up today.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the Brooklyn Nets. Should they be concerned at all with all the injuries? So Durant just came back. They looked phenomenal last night, but and Harden now is out with a hamstring.
So what was Kevin Durant's punishment?
He got fined.
How convenient. It's face of the league.
Remember, he can still put a ball through a hoop, and that's basically all they really care about.
Yeah.
Harden's going to miss at least 2 weeks with the injury. Nets are first in the East currently. Do you think that they should be concerned about the playoff run if these two guys can't stay healthy currently?
No, if they're back for the playoffs, that's all that matters. They're not going to lose in the playoffs if they're all healthy. If anybody is out, they might be able to still roll through because they have too many all-stars. I think if 2 of them are out, they're in trouble.
So who do you think's more critical, though? Is it Durant or is it Harden?
I think it's Harden. I'm sorry. I think Harden, he just does it all. Like, seriously, if they're all hurt and you just have Harden, I think you can still get through the playoffs. Maybe not win it, but you can still do damage.
So
he can drop 50 on you.
We're getting the one key, though. Kyrie. Kyrie's another. So it's not an injury with him. It's usually a mental issue of, is he going to want to play?
If I was the Nets, if there's an injury, I'd want it to be him because he's going to want to be the star in the playoffs, and he just doesn't do it in the playoffs. And if they have some sort of derailment, I would probably guess that it would be because of Kyrie.
So Harden's averaging 29 points a game when he's playing, but he's only played in, I think, 19 games. He's missed 32 games so far. So if Durant stays healthy,
he could be just resting.
I mean, and that could be a play. I don't know. Who knows anymore with these guys? NBA, they rest players. He could have came back probably weeks ago, but you say, why bother? They're still winning. They're first in the East.
Yep.
So that call that just came in, that was actually for someone trying to reserve spots for a live showing of Sports Unfolded. So we're kind of excited that we're already having people reach out to us.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So if you are interested, reach out to us on Facebook, at Rhode Island Broadcasting, or on Sports Unfolded, and we'll give you details on how you can join us for a live showing.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Favorite part of the show for Ron. Pick and roll.
Love it.
The pick and roll. So last week's pick and roll.
No matter what we choose.
Yeah. Pick and roll last week. It was probably one of the toughest ones we've done so far.
It was so good.
And we're only 2 months in. So it can only get worse. But we're going to look at the AL East and currently how we feel the teams are going to finish and why. So I went first last week, so I'll let you go first this week.
All right. So at number 5, I have the Toronto Blue Jays. I think the pitching.
I can already tell we're going to be a lot different on this.
Yeah, I can tell. I don't think the pitching is there in any aspect. I know they have a lot of good young talent all the sons of all the greats.
Yeah, which I'll mention.
You know, they got all of them. You know, if there was a Major League Baseball player in the 80s, their sons are playing on this team. So, but I mean, I like the lineup. I like the lineup a lot. I hate the pitching. And I think that's going to be the demise of this team. Number 4, I have Baltimore. I'm a little surprised of how well Harvey pitched in the first game. And Means, I think they got a good one too. So, and I think their hitting is enough. And of course, you know, I can't think of his name, Mancini coming back
from the cancer,
having cancer,
which is great.
And
Great
I
story.
think that in itself is boosting this team.
Yeah.
And therefore I have them at number 4. Here is where things get a little crazy.
I think the whole thing so far is crazy, but okay.
I have Tampa Bay number 3. And I like the team. I don't like their lineup too much, but it's doable. I just don't think they have enough hitting, and I think they're going to end up trading away like Archer. You know, I think they're going to start not Archer. Oh my God, I can't think of.
They already got rid of Archer.
Yeah.
They got rid of Snell. They got rid of Morton.
Yeah, I can't think of the guy. He's the number 2 starter on the team. I can't think of what his name is, but I think they're going to end up getting rid of him.
Tim chimed in. He thinks Tampa is good.
I mean, I think they're.
Tim, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
our number 1
think
fan.
that Tampa Bay is a good team, but I'm a little surprised at Boston, to be honest with you. Yes, they got swept at the first series, and I get it.
You know what we need? We need a homer horn.
But no. But look, Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yes.
Okay. Their pitching has been good except for Richards.
Yep. Okay.
And I think with that lineup is still good. That lineup is good. And they're starting to put up runs. And I think that's going to be a norm. And that's why I have Boston at number 2, and the Yankees are just going to run away with it. Number 1.
Okay. So the Yankees actually losing to Tampa Bay, or they were losing today.
Yeah,
and it was like 9-4.
They're gonna be the top team. They're gonna be the top team. Like, that's not even
all right.
Even if they start struggling, they're gonna just go get a trade and they're gonna get some whatever they need. And to be honest with you, I'm looking at that lineup. They don't need anything.
Really don't. That might be the only one we agree on. All right, so
I already know
if the fans are out there,
you're gonna have,
and the fans are voting right now. I mean, I would definitely say that chime in, let us know how you think Ron's pick and roll was, and then how my pick and roll is.
All that matters is at the end of the season, when I'm right, you'll then be eating crow.
I cannot wait for a live studio audience, because I am going to tell you right now, they would be booing you.
I don't care. I don't care about booze.
So let's look at
the peanut gallery.
Let's look at, I had the Rays at 5. Think they lost too many top players. They're currently being outscored by 19 runs already this season.
Going to get booed? Dang.
19 runs they've been outscored by already in 6 games. Mm-hmm. The bats aren't alive. Their ERA currently is 5.87, worse than the American League. They're batting 200, little over 200, just over the cusp.
The beginning of the season.
This is just a sign of what's to come. If your ERA is pushing 6,
first 2 weeks is always
6.
Yeah. Watch.
6 runs a game. Who they beating? Number 4, we agreed, Baltimore. You probably have the less talent than most in the division, but they're currently first, which is kind of crazy. But they've been beating up each other. So Boston, New York, they've beaten them a few times. Team ERA is at a 4. No real clear-cut starter there as well. I think they've got enough talent to probably stay in that bottom range, but ahead of the Rays. I just feel like the Rays just lost way too much. Number 3, Boston Red Sox. So I'm going to ask you this. Can Eovaldi stay consistent? So right now, Eovaldi's pitching lights out. He looks great. JD Martinez and Vasquez are both batting over 400.
JD looks really good. That's the thing
That isn't going to
That's
stay
right.
consistent. Do you feel?
Yes, I think
So
it
last
will.
season, he barely could cut
Right.
200.
Right, you're right.
So my question would be is how consistent is this? To your point, it's early in the season.
Well,
Maybe he stays hot. This moves up. I could actually see Boston being the number one team in the AL East, but it's all going to depend on the bats and then their pitching. So the ERA's 3.5, not bad. I mean, under 4, I think you can win. You can get more than 4 runs a game. Batting average is 267. I'm just curious to see if these guys can stay healthy. And who's your number 2?
Number 2
Starter.
I mean, their pitching has been fine. Like Evaldi is going to be number 2.
And then you're going Rodriguez at
Rodriguez
Erod
is going to
at
be number 1.
Okay.
Evaldi at number 2. I think.
So if Erod stays,
Richard, I think Garrett Richards has the most to lose out of all of this because he stunk up the joint. He was the only starter that pitched horribly. And I'll tell you, Houck, he's impressive.
And who's your bullpen?
I mean, the bullpen.
So this is what I'm saying. You're going to need good quality starts.
I think that's where they're probably the weakest. But I mean, I like Barnes. Like, I can see him being a good closer. He's just got to be mentally tough. And I think after the last couple of seasons, I think he's going to develop into that. And I think he's going to be good. You know, not great. He's not going to be Mariano. You know,
not many were.
No, there was only a couple of those. But I think he's going to be good enough to do the job. I can see him blowing maybe 4 saves, 5 saves a year. I mean, he's got great stuff. He's got a nice fastball. You know, it's all getting over the mental hurdle of becoming not the setup man, but the closer. And that's what he's got to get through.
So I'd be interested to see because I don't think Evaldi's going to continue to pitch the way he is, and I'm not sold on Erod, and he's been injured a few times too.
I think
where
Erod is a fantastic pitcher, and
he's just not. He hasn't been there consistently enough to give us a good sample size.
He needs to get through more than 6. He has to start again. He has to start getting over that 6th inning hurdle that he faces all the time. It's like he goes 6 and then he gets into trouble. And then you have to, so he doesn't go very far into the game. So you have to really pay attention to his pitch count. If his pitch count is up, you know, early, then you could be in trouble. Then you have to go to that bullpen, which is a little suspect.
So I'm going to keep him at 3 for now. Currently, I just feel like there's too many question marks. I got Toronto at 2.
Not with that pitching.
So let me ask you this. All right, 3-4-3 right now currently.
Yes, I know that.
In the American League, they don't have clear ace. I agree with you. There was not one guy that jumped out at me and says, okay, that's their ace. You got Guerrero Jr., Biggio, Bichette.
I know. I love the lineup.
Remember, the Spring has been out.
I know.
So Springer comes back. They've got enough bats to overcome maybe the pitching. Again, it's all 2-3 to me. Could have went either way because I could see Boston being a little better than Toronto because I think they have at least 2 quality starters.
Yeah.
And Toronto doesn't, but I feel like Toronto's bats are going to be better than Boston's bats.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. So, like I said, you know, JD, I think last year there was something wrong. Like I really think there was something wrong. Like they were talking about, you know, like his leg or his foot or something like that, and he couldn't plant the leg properly, so he was a little more open. Now he's closed up his stance.
So now we have Dr. Ron, not Dr. Fix-It.
No,
I love it.
I'm just saying.
No, I love it.
Like,
I mean,
they
it's
closed up his stance, and he's now driving the ball.
Before
again.
I heard he couldn't look at the videos in between. It was. I think I don't know. I just think he's hot right now. It's April.
I think he's gonna have a good season, and I think he might contend for MVP. I'm gonna throw that out there for you. Like he's going to have a really good season.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is 2 weeks in a row that I question your sanity. Because there is no way you're going to honestly tell me that JD Martinez is going to be the MVP.
No, I said he's going to contend for the MVP. Contend.
With who? Who's not? Is there anybody else that is not playing in the league? Is that why? No, there's no way.
Probably going to contend with Trout because
Trout is on fire already.
And Trout is going to win the MVP because the LA Angels are going to win that division.
Which again, we've got to do our Major League Baseball So we're
Yes.
definitely going to get a show in
We have to
shortly.
do it next week. Make time.
My number one, the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
They
That's
got
not-
the,
that's
they
not
got
a
the best
surprise.
pitcher in the division.
And you want to talk Homer? That's your favorite team.
What is, that,
I know they're going to win the division.
Garrett
Everybody
Cole.
knows the whole country knows they're going to win the division.
All right, Garrett Cole. Let me give you the reasons. Garrett Cole, best
Yeah.
pitcher in baseball,
Yeah.
or one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Followed by the guy next to him.
So
That's also one of the best pitchers in baseball.
So they need obviously some help with Kluber. Hopefully he comes back. And I mean, he had a bad game today, but we'll have to see. Judge, Stanton, Sanchez, also, if they all stay healthy, Judge has already missed 2 games again. So that's a concern. They've got probably the best bullpen in baseball, or one of the best bullpens in baseball, and they still got some injuries there. I just feel like starting pitcher could be an issue. But currently going in before today's game, they had a 1.74 ERA as a team. They're batting .250. All the pieces that they needed to be at currently are there, and it's April. So I can't see any other team being better than them, even if they have injuries, even if their pitching isn't top notch. I still
they're
think
going to the World Series. They're going to the World Series. And as much as I hate saying that, like, I don't see any team that even comes close. And Tim is lighting up the comment board over
yes, I see that, Tim. Thank you.
here. So, I mean, the Yankees are just so much better. They're so much better. It's laughable.
The funny thing is, though, I mean, if you look at one key injury, like we were talking about Tatis earlier, if that happens to New York, I mean, if and I don't even want to say it because I'll jinx it.
Say it.
But if a particular player goes down, that's a very good pitcher.
Judge.
No, I'm not worried about Judge because I still think they have enough
Stanton.
bats. I'm worried about the pitching.
Oh, well, yeah, no.
They can't afford to lose that ace. I don't think
Why can't they?
because I just think that
Okay,
that's a 20-game winner.
This team should score 6 runs a game.
That's a Cy Young winner. He's a Cy Young winner. Like, you can't replace that with
No,
anything.
you can't.
Though.
This is why Sox have Sale.
He's gonna be that gap stopper when they're having a losing streak, and then he comes in and he gets them back on track. That they can't afford to lose. I don't care how good of you are on paper. Sometimes you need that one guy. And that's why I said some of the other teams that we talked about, that's why that Boston-Toronto thing, I could see Boston being the 2 team because I just feel like they have the bats that can compete. But again, can their pitching stay consistent? If New York loses that starting pitching, that's going to be.
It's just like with Boston with Sale. Like, if Sale is healthy and playing at the top of his game, like, before the injury started, this is a different Red Sox team. Like, they've been talking, well, the Yankees aren't clear-cut winners.
I agree. If Sale is healthy, Sale as a starting pitcher, I think I put them ahead of him.
See, the future, like back when Sale was himself, and you just see that delivery, and that it's like an awkward kind of throw, and you could just see he was going to have some arm troubles. And it's not really a surprise to me. Like, I used to pitch. I mean, I can see, the angles, and it's like, okay.
And I think, July before he's even maybe coming back. So, I mean, that could hurt them. I don't know. Let us know, fans, who you thought won that. If you're just joining us, we are live every Friday night on Rhode Island Broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. You follow us on Facebook and Twitter on Sports Unfolded and Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. Tim has been all over the place with us today. Tim, thank you. Our number one fan, always joining. I appreciate all the comments and how great you think I am. Couldn't do it without Ron, though. Trust me. He knows his stuff, except when it comes to face off and pick and roll.
Wait, no. I'm still up on face off.
In your mind. In my mind, I'm winning.
Yeah, that's the problem.
All right.
It's in the contract that I have to take the loss.
You know what? I got to see this contract. So we're going to talk a little Patriots, just a little time filler here, because I really feel like is Cam Newton going to be the starting quarterback, or do you think the Patriots are drafting a quarterback?
This quarterback thing that has plagued the NFL this year has just been crazy. Like, we still don't know, who's going to be a quarterback for this team. That's scary.
So you think about all the talent they brought in, and we're sitting here going, okay, is Cam Newton your starting quarterback? Like that's
we
the
don't
most
know.
important. That's the most important piece.
Yeah. And it's like we don't know what is going to happen. Are they going to draft a quarterback? Are they going to try to move up and like snatch one of them from somebody? Like, because you want one of those four.
Just say his name. Oh, you're talking about the draft.
I'm talking about the
Just
draft.
a draft. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so
they're not getting Lawrence.
That?
Lawrence isn't going. Trey Lance, Mac Jones. Those are the names that's being discussed. I mean,
like there's so many things circulating, and again, like could the Patriots somehow get Jimmy G?
I knew he was going to say it. I was waiting.
I was waiting.
I knew. I was
because there's also talk of Minshew.
Please don't do that to me.
Like I'm just saying.
I don't know if I could go through.
Suppose the Patriots make a deal for Minshew.
Yeah. Cam Newton's still your starting quarterback.
Right, but I don't think. I think they could then shuffle him off to San Francisco for Jimmy G, and give a third round draft pick or a fourth round draft pick with Minshew for Jimmy G. Then Jimmy G goes there. San Francisco will then have a veteran quarterback for a quarterback they would draft at that 3 spot and pay a lot less for Minshew.
I mean, it could happen. It'd just be interesting to see.
I mean,
I don't think. I don't think that they're not moving up in the draft. Everybody's talking about New England. Can they move up? Will they move up? They're not moving up. You got a 15th overall draft pick. They're going to get a quality player,
right?
Especially probably on the defensive side of the ball with all the offensive players that are going to go early.
I'm not a Cam fan. Like we all know.
We know. We've heard.
This. I'm not a Cam fan. But at this point,
but Cam, if you do want to join us and ever do an interview, we would gladly like to have you.
Absolutely.
What's Unfolded.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
As long as they have an adequate quarterback, I think this team could go to the Super Bowl. And that's either Cam, Jimmy G, as long as they're adequate.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say Cam Newton's our starting quarterback. I don't think there's any changes to back position. Not. They're gonna draft in the later rounds, and we'll see if that kid comes through.
When San Francisco started beefing up their line, that could be to protect Jimmy G.
He needs it, and I honestly, as much as I liked Jimmy when he was here, I don't feel like he's the answer for New England because I just feel like he's not going to play enough games for us to be a contender with Jimmy G. That's just my opinion.
Tim, I'm quite sane.
All right, let's go move on to the face-off. So the face-off is really interesting. So there's been a lot of chatter. So I don't know if anybody watches.
Tim's got to decide this. So pay attention, Tim.
Tim, yes, who's voting? Who's for and against? Tim, we'll let you decide this right now. So the question is, should the Green Bay Packers trade quarterback Aaron Rodgers? So one of us has to be for them trading, and one of us has to be against it. I will say he's got a TV career now in the future on Jeopardy. So that might automatically kind of steer us in a direction as to what probably best for Aaron Rodgers. But Tim, if you're watching right now and listening,
he's watching.
Who should vote for trading Aaron Rodgers and who should vote against?
Come on, Tim.
Against Ron. Ron's gonna lose. All right.
Why do people always want to have the opposite of what I think?
So I am for them trading Aaron Rodgers, and you're against them trading Aaron Rodgers. It's interesting. So you're first this time, right? So you're against. Whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
And
you got a timer?
Yeah, I'm ready. Go.
All right. First of all, Aaron Rodgers is what? Top 3 quarterbacks in the league?
Maybe all time.
Yeah, maybe all time. Exactly. There's my point. Aaron Rodgers can still bring a team a championship. You don't get rid of a guy that can do that for you. You absolutely keep this guy. You just put somebody around him that you can get him the ball. You put some defense in place that you can get back the ball to give to Aaron Rodgers. Why would you trade a guy that can do what he does? You know, this goes way beyond trading Favre to keep Aaron Rodgers. Like, I don't care what anybody says. You can all hate me out there. Favre can throw the ball, but he wasn't as good as Aaron Rodgers is. Aaron Rodgers is probably one of the best that has played. I'd say
Time.
six.
Time. All right, and I'm for the Green Bay Packers trading Aaron Rodgers. Let me see here, and I will go now. So I will say this. You said some very key things. A guy that can win championships. Aaron Rodgers won one championship with the Green Bay Packers. We can blame talent, but sometimes Tom Brady won 6 with a New England Patriot team that I would say half the time didn't deserve to win because there was far better talented teams out there. Aaron Rodgers has already shown that he's not interested in football anymore, at least with the Green Bay Packers. He's exploring television. He's been talking about trades. He saw what Tom did down in Tampa, where it makes more sense to go to a stacked team and give yourself an opportunity. I will tell you this. He's got 1 year left this season, and he actually could be moved by the Green Bay Packers. And there's a team that's out there that he would go to, that he could win a championship with a head coach that's won 6 NFL titles. So what I am hoping for as a Patriot fan is that they do trade him, and they're going to trade him to the New England Patriots next season, and we win a Super Bowl. So should the Packers trade him? Absolutely. It makes the most sense in the world. And clearly I won that debate. Time.
I mean, I have to actually give you this one because that was my argument because I wanted first of all, I think the Packers should trade him anyway because they are not going to win a Super Bowl in that conference with Tom Brady.
So let me say this. Last season, he lost that championship game. We can sit here, and he had a clear path to the end zone and decides to throw a lame duck ball.
Goddamn word I said.
Right? I win. But he throws that ball into the ground, thinking that the coach is going to give him a 4th down. When you had a clear shot to the end zone, run the ball in. It's the championship game. To go to the Super Bowl, to beat Tom Brady. It was all there on the table for him.
Look, they're not going to get past Tampa Bay, so why keep him? Why keep him? You're not going to get past Tampa Bay with that team, period.
I want to hear
trade them, start all over, and then when the next guy comes up, in 3 years, when Tom is gone, you have a shot.
If the phone rings right now, I hope it's Bill Belichick saying that, you know what, guys, you're absolutely right. I'm making that move. Because if that's not what's going on in Foxborough right now, Cam's our quarterback for how many years? 1. Guess what?
Look,
we don't have a quarterback next season.
If the Patriots make that deal, I don't care what they trade. They can trade all of their draft picks. I don't really care. You trade all of your draft picks and you get Aaron Rodgers to throw this team the ball.
Super Bowl.
Tom versus Aaron Rodgers.
Super Bowl. We're calling it now on Sports Unfolded.
So you can have that win because I couldn't even contain it.
It's not that I have the win.
No,
I made the better arguments because clearly I win every face-off.
No, because that's what I truly believe. Like I don't think they should.
That's why the face-off's so tough, because we don't get to pick.
No, I don't like it. They always pick the opposite I want.
Let's do some predictions. So last week, you won 2-1. Nice job. Won both NHL ones. I picked against you.
Starting to get,
So let's look at on April 12th, the Sixers at the Mavs. Very good game.
Because the Mavs are a pretty decent team. They're a pretty good team.
Yeah, they're coming around. They've moved in the right direction.
And they're playing at home.
They are at home.
So I'm going to go with the Mavs.
Going with the Mavs. I like it. I'm agreeing with you. I think Luka is becoming a superstar. Nets at the 76ers. That's on April 14th.
How many days is that from now?
What are we at? 5 days from now.
Okay, so
no Harden.
No Harden.
For sure.
I'm going to go 76ers.
Wow. I'm going Nets. I think Durant is going to hit his stride at that point. He'll be a couple games in. So it'll be interesting to see if
Unless he goes
he
off
can,
on a tangent again.
or he blows out a hamstring or whatever. I don't know.
He could be here
Yeah.
next game.
NHL on April 13th, the Lightning at the Predators.
Lightning, not even. I don't.
I'm sticking with the Lightning too because every time I pick
I
against
don't
them,
care about the Predators team. I don't think they're that good.
I'm gonna do this to you again.
Yes, I know, and I'm gonna.
April.
You know what I'm gonna do?
April 15th, the Islanders at the
Yep.
Bruins. Islanders currently 5-0 against the Bruins this
Yep, and
season,
they just got Palmieri and Sajak.
and you've continuously picked Boston.
Yep,
I'm putting you on the spot.
yep.
That are you going to do it again and make it
Yep.
0 for 6?
I'm gonna go with the Bruins again. I'm going to.
You are going with the Bruins.
I'm gonna go with the Bruins.
Why do you do this to them?
And
Who's in the net? I need to know.
They're gonna
Who-
drop 5
Who's
goals on.
last
the
time you said that they
Isles.
lost? Who is the goalie in that game?
Good question.
If it's Swayman, I go Bruins. If it's not Swayman, I'm going the other way.
If it's Swayman,
I'm a fan of.
Vladar,
I'm a fan.
or Rask, I'm going with the Bruins. If it's Halak, I'm not.
So you're going Bruins.
I'm going Bruins.
I'm going Bruins. So we picked basically 2 and 2. All right, we'll see how that turns out.
So we're all the same except for one.
Lightning, Nets.
So it all basically comes down to the Nets and 76ers.
Yes. Yeah,
Gee, that
good
kinda
point.
sucks.
Yeah, well, I feel the Bees. This is their chance. This is it.
Yeah.
So if you just joined us, we're on Rhode Island Broadcasting every Friday night at 6 p.m. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Sports Unfolded.
We have to acknowledge all those fans. We have over 2,000 live viewers.
2,000 live views tonight. Thank you so much. We appreciate all the fans out there. You guys have been amazing. We hope you appreciate the show.
And
Give us feedback.
Comments, please. Comment.
Like us, share
we
us.
mention Tim all the time.
We're at the Dr. Fix-It Cyber Complex, our new studio. Really excited about that. All the hard work that's been put into Rhode Island Broadcasting, you can see it paying off as we're able to move into a new studio and bring you more exciting live events.
You can come and see us live. Tim, get on a plane and come see us next week here.
Live
in the
events.
studio.
How great would that be? If you're going to join us next week, which we hope all 2,000 fans will, we're going to talk the NHL trade deadline and what transpired and what happened there. NFL draft for the Pats and where they're going. The draft will be a week away after that. And pick and roll next week. We're going to rank some all-time Celtic greats in what order. So we're going to have to see. That's going to be a real fun one. I'm excited about that one.
Maybe sometime we can do the Lakers too.
Oh, oof. Oh, we might. Oh, that's really exciting. So if you haven't watched the show before, what we do on our show at the end, we do a final thought, and our final thought can be anything. Doesn't necessarily have to be sports related. It can be anything that's going on in the world. But last week I went first. So I'll let you go first this week, Ron. Your final thought.
Well, it was really difficult for me to put which one I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to lump them both in. I want to talk about Jack Hanna and DMX. Like, I mean, we lost DMX, but Jack Hanna also got diagnosed with dementia, and I mean it's almost like losing another person that you can remember as long as you can think, right? I remember watching Letterman all the time, and he had Jack Hanna on there with the Animals, and it's so terrible to see, stars and our heroes, going through things, but we also have to remember they are regular people as well. And say what you want about DMX's past, I liked his music, and that affects me, so we lost that.
Yeah.
And Jack Hanna, like, I'll never be able to see him with the baby cubs or something like, so cherish those moments of all these people that bring us entertainment every day. They are regular people, so we have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, outstanding point. You know, they dedicate their lives to trying to make our lives a little better and keep us happy.
Yes.
And you know, it's sad to see, but your rest in peace, DMX. Great points, Ron. My final thought is on one of my favorite Celtic players of all time, and I think that's what made me think about the Celtics rankings for the pick and roll next week is Paul Pierce, and how disappointed I was to see what he did. He had an Instagram live where he had some strippers and was smoking what we believe would be marijuana. So he's been fired from ESPN, which they had every right to do. But it's just a shame to see that some of our sports legends just don't understand the impact they have in the communities with fans, with children, with kids that are, you know, in high school basketball right now that might have looked up to his style and his play and want to be like Paul Pierce. Make smarter decisions. Be wiser about what you're putting out there. I'm not saying not have a good time, but that was nobody's business to see. I think he had 300 live viewers. At the end of the day, 300 live viewers. We've gotten 2,000 live viewers tonight. And we're smart enough to know what we can put on TV and can't put on TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Paul, disappointment. I think he might sign a contract with a porn
Does this
site.
mean we're better than him?
We have more live
2,000?
viewers. Our fans like us more than Paul Pierce. How great is that? That's awesome. But let's see what he does in the future. I don't think he's going to make any wise decisions. But once again, Rhode Island Broadcasting every Friday night at 6 p.m. at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter. Watch us on Twitch as well. Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. This has been a great show.
I loved it.
Great show. Live studio audiences coming shortly. We're excited about that.
Cannot wait.
Thank you for joining us every single Friday night. You have a good night out there.
Take care.